I usually don't get upset when a player on the other team in League of Legends is 1v5ing me and my Rift coworkers. The game revolves around gold and certain hypercarries are just designed to stomp if they snowball ahead, as that's just the nature of the game, but occasionally I will run into some unparalleled level of complete nonsense that someone has discovered where they can play the least gold reliant role and not even be ahead but still pull off just disgustingly broken crap to the point where all I can say is, what the f, Riot. Full disclosure, the Swain in this game was actually on the other team and yours truly was proudly displaying his virginity playing Teemo top because I figured I counter almost everyone in lane except for apparently this crusty cat turd who thought it'd be fun to totally zone me, who had me pushed into tower and was still rolling dirt, who was really starting to piss me. So we are going to be focusing on this Swain and the absolute broken tech he discovered. And to show that this wasn't just a snowball roller from the moment the little hoodlums were let out of the base, you can see right off the bat this guy is more out of place than a dildo on a family Thanksgiving dinner table, and that large bear with ice shards in his back that I called my Volibear jungler was going to make sure he knew that. But the second his own ADC wasn't in lane, he could actually get some work done with the celeb shot from Chuckles the annoying shitbag, as you see him give that stage riding blonde Ariana a gooch grab, which prompts a situation for her that I assume she won't want to tweet about later until she unfortunately passes away. This creates one of those situations where the enemy bot lane is probably like, okay cool, Shaco got his kill, now he's gonna go flick his own bean in the forest and do other jungler things, but little do they know that Silver Elo is his name and wasting time is his game, so he sticks around, tosses a butter knife at the clock, and then Gramps grabs the ticking tit licker to secure them another kill. His Jinx appears to be about as useful as a poopy flavored lollipop, as she's basically magnetic to skill shots, but this angry amputee just learned HM fly, which means he's gonna float around and soul suck the literal shit out of Sona until she fakes her own death hoping he'll piss off, but it just attracts Chester the Jester to join the party, so she dies for real, and then our levitating protagonist makes sure the only other floating character in lane gets f***ed. He now has a health belt and small APPP, which means when he has a head-on collision with Ocean Song Jailbait and her butt buddy, he can just turn his internal soul vacuum on and remain completely unfazed until she gets a case of the low blood sugar and he backs out. There's a bit of a standoff over whose team this sliver of river belongs to, and then hey look, it's me mom, I'm famous. Bruh. But I guess my dumb death inspired my jungler to do the same, which leaves just Mr. Evermore alone to be the support, who is already the strongest champ in this particular game, as he finishes off the Twitter simp and then lets the guy yelling Sparta know that 300 is cool but he's worth much more with a bounty now, so he makes like a rubber ball and bounces. Fast forward a few ticks and Zilean has seemingly lost his last marble, which baits the melodic muse I'd like to call mommy into a situation where she just wants to tap that albino's beehole for the kill in peace without some grumpy grandpa trying to suck copium out of her ass, but rushing Rylai's makes that an issue. It's now like 15 minutes into the game and this is silver, so team fights over absolutely nothing are starting to break out, which is looking bleak for the boys in blue until you account for the 40-year-old virgin and his vortex of an ult slowing everyone, which gets the big bear shut down before he busts his ult nut and then yo-yos a claw right next to my irresistibly stupid as shit mid lane Pantheon. This opens the door for him to continue herd dogging my teammates back into their base cages until it's time for one brave little satanical rabbit, let's call him Rav, comes in to give this grabby grandpa a taste of his own bullshit. Update on the build: it's really just Rylai's and Nick Merck's merch as the treads, which is enough for him to be more annoying than a little stepsister who isn't stuck in a washing machine, as you see him just float around flash freezing everyone including myself, who I guess deemed this a good time to practice my Jesus Christ impersonation, as he is making it damn near impossible for anyone to get away from his never-ending ult and pause. This is the moment that I want to show how utter bullshit this is. We have a 4-2 support who is tied for the lowest level in this team fight. Outnumbered literally 1 versus 5, and watch how this ends for him. And this vast display of people phoning it in on the balanced team at Riot has earned him a few more Mage Eyes stacks, so he is probably like, print the rest of this game plan on a shampoo bottle because I'm fin to rinse and repeat, but the sad glad has the not gonna die effect, so they kite back until they are like, fuck it, just let him be all dramatic, knowing they will just grab him when he's done begging for attention, and this launches the upgraded version of the Soul Suck 9000 where he's not doing a lot of damage, but he's just like an endless annoying cold ass fan blowing in your face constantly when you are trying to focus on something, as you see my hopeful romantic ass gets dragged into the mix thinking I will make a change in the world only to die like everyone else who has a similar lack of decision-making skills. At this point he still hasn't backed, he must be sitting on his wealth like it's Tesla stock and he knows it's a bad time to cash out, so he still just has 1.5 items, no mythic, nothing, and every time a team fight breaks out it looks like the odds of his team winning are lower than the odds of my wife not leaving me for Pete Davidson if she ever meets him. I don't know what it is, but he knows something us other men don't know. But yeah, anyway, back to this bullshit that I've devoted my life to. Look at how literally impossible it is for the entire Breakfast Club to kill this underleveled support, and if it wasn't for my giant demon dick doing something flashy he would have got away with that. So maybe I'm going crazy from spending too much of my young adult life on this anger-inducing game, but I swear he always had his ult, and the fact that he just needs to be sucking off one person to keep it going made a tanky Rylai's Rush build where everyone else felt like they needed caffeine enemas around him that much worse, as once you stepped into his circle of stupid bullshit you either had to kill him or you were stuck in there till you died. And killing him was less feasible than making money off of Logan Paul's CryptoZoo project, because he then built a new season tank item. Thanks for adding that to the game, Riot, by the way. So yeah, team fights for him only ended when he decided they were over. And he didn't do a lot of damage himself because he only had a Rylai's and Mage Eyes in the damage department, but it was still enough to make any non-tank champ want to kill themselves. As you can see, I once again made the mistake of thinking I'm a level above this support with more items than him, after he's used his cooldowns to slay the chick I was simping over, but I made the mistake of stepping into his soul vacuum, so basically I couldn't get out, I couldn't do damage to him, and this fight basically just turned into a waiting room for me to go back to base. His fourth item was a demonic embrace, so now his ability to stay in combat with floaty fuck form activated for 6 short eternities would benefit from the ticking time bombs that item provides from being in extended fights, and all the carries who have been following the recent trends of League know that they simply can't participate in fights without getting tapped faster than a beer keg at a frat party, so they piss off until it's just the grown-ups left, which in this case is a Volibear trying to find more little kids to shit on, with Edgar Allan Poe following him around like he wants his autograph and is just refusing to leave until he gets it. So yeah, the Polar Express leaves the station and then the harmless little support starts some beef with my brainless mid laner, and I see this going down and I'm thinking, hey, he doesn't have ult for the first time maybe ever, so now's my shot at actually killing him, only to find myself more baited than a fish deep throating a hook, so my dumbass dies again. Anyways, his team is now trying to jerk off the large river worm to get imbued with his magical purple jizz, but our jungler comes in and makes a steal that made me want to start chanting, for he's a jolly good fellow, and while that earned us a Baron buff, it didn't exactly solve the Swain problem as he remained just slightly unkillable. But every adventure on this channel has to have a happy ending. I'm like a cheap illegal massage parlor, as we finally found the solution to an unkillable Juggernaut support, and it's simple. You just steal the Elder buff and then use its Executioner Spirit Dragon Pukes to finally slay the shitter, and then you put your running shoes on to charge their Nexus like it's the capital, and you have your Ma-Ga hat on before he can respawn, and with that I did win the game. But look at this utter bullshit and tell me one reason why I shouldn't just exploit this to farm LP in my games. Rav out.